Cop tries to humiliate black man in court, then realizes he's a judge. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to our channel, tap the like button, and let us know in the comments where you are watching from. Your support helps us keep bringing you stories that deserves to be heard. Now let's get back to the story. The courtroom has always been more than just four walls and a bench. For some, it's a place of justice. For others, it's a place of fear, where the weight of history presses against every breath they take. For black men, walking into a courtroom often feels like stepping onto a battlefield, not because they're guilty, but because they're already judged by their skin, their posture, their very existence. This is the story of Marcus L. Bryant, a man who turned that battlefield into his victory ground. The day was humid, the Atlanta sun sinking into an orange horizon. Marcus Bryant, dressed in a navy suit and loosened tie, drove his black BMW down Peachtree Street. His day had been long, a marathon of back-to-back hearings, stacks of paperwork, and phone calls. All he wanted was to go home, kick off his shoes, and eat the takeout waiting in his fridge. But trouble found him first. A police siren wailed behind him. Marcus sighed, pulling over. From the rear-view mirror, he saw him, Detective Ray Hensley, stocky build, clean-shaven, with a face that carried a permanent scowl. Hensley was the kind of cop who didn't need a reason to pull someone over. His reason was usually the color of their skin. Hensley approached the car with his hand resting on his holstered gun. "License and registration," he barked, his tone void of politeness. Marcus handed them over, calm as ever. "What's the problem, officer?" Marcus asked. "You tell me," Hensley replied, leaning into the window with a sneer. "Where you headed? This your car?" "Yes, it's mine. I'm headed home." Hensley's eyes narrowed, scanning Marcus's tailored suit. "What do you do for a living?" "I work in law," Marcus said simply. Hensley chuckled. "Law? You a paralegal or something?" "Something like that," Marcus replied, his voice smooth. That calm confidence irritated Hensley. He didn't like when black men stood tall. He wanted them nervous, apologetic, small. "Step out of the car," Hensley ordered. "For what reason?" "Step out. Now." Marcus complied, knowing that arguing might escalate things. Hensley patted him down aggressively, then began tossing through his car, opening the glove compartment, rifling through papers, and dumping Marcus's leather briefcase onto the sidewalk. The humiliation was deliberate. "Am I under arrest?" Marcus asked, still composed. "Yeah," Hensley said with a smirk. "Suspicious behavior. You can explain yourself in court." The metallic click of handcuffs tightened around Marcus's wrists. The next morning, in the police locker room, Hensley couldn't stop talking. "Pulled over some hot shot last night," he bragged to two fellow officers. "Guy thought he was somebody. Dressed like he owned the city. I reminded him who's in charge." The other officers laughed. "Another rich boy thinking he's untouchable?" "Exactly," Hensley said. "I can't wait to see his face in court when the judge sides with me. That'll teach him a lesson." For Hensley, this wasn't about justice. It was about control, proving that no matter how successful a black man was, the system could still put him in his place. The courtroom was full that day. Activists had heard about the viral arrest video and came to support Marcus. The air buzzed with quiet tension. Hensley strutted in, uniform press, badge shining, confident he'd walk out victorious. He'd done this routine dozens of times. His word versus theirs, and his word always carried more weight. "All rise for the Honorable Judge Marcus L. Bryant," the bailiff announced. Hensley stood, turning to face the bench. Then his world tilted. Walking to the side door in flowing black robes was Marcus Bryant, the same man Hensley had handcuffed and humiliated just days ago. The room went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Marcus didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He simply sat, adjusted his glasses, and looked straight at Hensley with an expression that said, "Your time of power is over." "Detective Hensley," Judge Bryant began, his voice deep and commanding, "you claim you stopped a black BMW on Peachtree for suspicious behavior. I'd like you to define suspicious." Hensley swallowed hard. "Well, Your Honor, the vehicle matched a description of a suspect we were looking for." "Which suspect?" What report? What time? Marcus pressed, each question cutting like a blade. I don't have the exact report on me, Hensley stammered. Marcus leaned forward. So, let me get this straight. You detain a man, search his car, and place him under arrest without a concrete reason. The room was deadly quiet. Hensley, for the first time, looked small. Marcus's eyes locked on Hensley, his voice slow, deliberate. Detective, do you know how many times I've been in that driver's seat? Not just as a man, but as a black man. You didn't see me that night. You saw what you wanted to see. A threat, a problem, something to be handled, not someone to be respected. Hensley shifted uncomfortably, glancing at the gallery where activists and reporters sat, watching every word. Marcus continued, When I was 16, I got stopped walking home from school. I was thrown against a wall for no reason, humiliated in front of my friends. I promised myself that day I'd never let someone with a badge strip me of my dignity again. That's why I became a lawyer. That's why I sit here today, wearing these robes. His voice grew stronger. You thought you could embarrass me in this courtroom, but you've only exposed yourself, to me, to everyone here, and to the system you claim to represent. Marcus's ruling was clear. The charges against the defendant are dismissed, because they never should have existed in the first place. Then he turned his attention fully to Hensley. Detective, this court is referring your conduct to internal affairs. You violated your oath to protect and serve. This courtroom will not be your stage for power trips. The gallery erupted with murmurs. Hensley's face was pale. He had no words. News of the courtroom clash spread quickly. Clips of Marcus's speech went viral, appearing on every social media platform. Comment sections overflowed with words like, "This is what justice looks like." A black man standing tall in the face of the system, respect. Meanwhile, Hensley's career spiraled downward. Internal affairs opened investigations into his past cases, and lawsuits he thought buried began to surface again. Marcus sat alone in his chambers that evening, staring at a photo of his late mother on his desk. She'd always told him, "One day, you'll use your voice to stand for something bigger than yourself." And today he had, not for revenge, not for ego, but to prove that dignity is not something anyone, not even a man with a badge, has the right to take away. When the world underestimates you, when it tries to strip you of your voice, remember this. The most powerful weapon you have is the truth of who you are. And when that truth is spoken in the face of injustice, even the strongest walls begin to crumble. If this story touched you, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it. Let someone else be inspired today. And remember, your voice matters, your story matters, and your resilience can light the way for others